Hi, this is Lydia Jakovac from the Rossland Museum, and we're doing the Rossland Memories Project. And I have here with me Dorothy McCann, and today is Tuesday, the 22nd of April, 2014. And I would just like to ask Dorothy if we have your permission to record your stories today.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. So let's start. I'm just curious about where you were born, when you were born, and a little bit about your family.
I was born in Bertel, Manitoba, in October the 17th, 1911. Went to it. Just an ordinary schoolhouse for education.
And your parents? Where were your parents from?
My dad was from England. His name was Mallard, and my mother was born in Canada. But my dad came out to Manitoba, and he worked on a farm, and mother and dad got married, and went together. They got married, and they built a house. They farmed for 35, 40 years and raised 4 children, 3 daughters and a son.
And what were their names?
My oldest sister was Kathleen Ann Mallard, then my name Dorothy Rose, and then my brother Arthur George, and then my youngest sister Rita Gladys, I think her name was.
And so the 4 of you grew up in Manitoba on the farm?
Yes.
And you were starting to say you went to a schoolhouse. Did you all go to the same school?
Yes. It was years and years ago, they didn't have they just ordinary rural schools. And we walked to school for the first few years that we were going to school. And then it was consolidated and they put on school vans. And they had different school vans for different routes around the district to pick up the children. And my dad, he drove the school van. In the wintertime, it was a thing that had a heater in it, little stove, seats in it, just like a caboose. And they went around and picked up the kids for that route, and then there was other ones that picked up the kids for different routes around, Yeah. Well, we did that till our education was finished. I only went to grade 8.
And that was at the same schoolhouse?
That was we had to go down to one of the towns to write exams to pass our test.
And do you remember, did you have the same teacher all the way through, or different teachers?
Pardon?
Did you have the same teacher all the way through?
No. No, I can't. I can remember the last teacher, Myrtle Burt, but I can't remember the others. It's funny.
Right.
Well, I guess I was, but we might have had 2 or 3, but the last one she was a very good teacher. And it was all grades in the one schoolhouse, right up to grade 8.
So it's quite a job for one teacher to take all those multi-levels.
Yeah, it was. But there would be only maybe, say, 35 students for all the grades.
Mm-hmm. So how many in your grade? Like, say, the grade 8. Do you remember how many kids would be there?
Oh, there might have been 4, 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. So you went to school there, and so how did you end up coming over here to Rossland?
Well, in the summertime, I went housekeeping for different ones, doing housework. Well, I moved. There was a place up in Salzgirt, that's in Manitoba, that needed help to do housework. So I went there, and that's when I met my husband, Horace McCann. And a few years, I was there for a few years, and then we got married. Let's think about this.
And you said his name was Horace? What was his name?
Horace, Horace, but we always called him Mac.
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 Okay, so what did Mac do? What was his job?
Well, he could do any job as far as that goes. In the summertime, fall time, he went helping on the farm, take off the crops, harvest, and he looked after the curling rink in the winter time. When they were curling, he had to make ice. Well, he did that. That's just what most of the guys did then.
And that was back in Manitoba?
That was back in Manitoba, in a little town called Salskirth.
Salskirth.
Yeah.
So you met him and...
Yeah, we went together, I guess, for about 3 years. Then we got married, and he went painting with BA Oil Company, painting garages, oil stations, painting them. And, let's see what he did after that. Well, he looked after the curling rink in the winter time, and in the summertime he would help farmers. He'd go to farm. It was just that this is what he did then.
Nice.
Those days, that's it. You didn't go into town and get any. And then eventually he joined the Air Force.
The Air Force?
Yes.
What did he do in the Air Force?
Well, he didn't go overseas, but he was a cook in the Air Force. And he was in the Air Force, I guess it was in 43 when the war, 43 or 4, when the war ended. Well, then he quit. And eventually, then we moved out to BC.
Mm-hmm. So whose idea was it to move to BC?
Well, my husband's brother was out here in BC, right out in Burnaby and they had a grocery store, and he was working there, and he said to us there was a couple that had daffodil bulbs out at White Rock that grew daffodil bulbs and wanted somebody to look after them, dig them up and things like that, and look after the place and that. So that's how we come out. Well, but Mac came out a month before I did to get things there was a house there. Well, he got some furniture and that went in. And my dad we came out on the train.
Train?
There was 4 children.
You had 4 children by that time?
Yeah. Irene was just about 3, I think it was. And my dad came out with me. We caught the train in Salskirth at 12 o'clock at night to come out to BC.
So how long did that take?
Well, it was 2 days. We were 2 days on the train.
And you had to sleep on the train?
We slept in our seats.
In the seats?
Yeah. And there was a young lad on the train that he had a guitar, and he was sitting at the back of the train, and he was playing, and the kids went down, and they'd stand around and listen to him, which was good. That occupied their time.
Oh,
yeah.
So that.
And then when we got at the station, we met Mac's folks. They were out in BC too then. They'd moved before we did, and so we met them, stayed there at their place overnight. Then we went out to the farm where all these daffodils were, and met them people. And by that time, Mac had got furniture in the house, and we moved into the house.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And that was in Burnaby?
That was in White Rock.
Sorry, White Rock. The daffodil farm was in White Rock.
White Rock.
So how long did you stay there?
Oh, we were there, I guess, 4 or 5 years. We had cattle. We could have cows. We had cows, and we sold milk to the dairy. And that, put it in the big cream cans and put it out to the road, and the truck picked it up and took it to the creamery. And we had hens. We sold eggs for the hatchery. We had the roosters, and we sold eggs to the hatchery and put it in. Well, there was 2 crates, 12 dozen in this side and 12 in that side, and we took them to the hatchery, and that was the eggs that they used for the chickens.
Oh, right.
And then when the chickens were hatched, they bought them back, and we had a big hen house. We raised them there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you learn how to farm? Did you learn that from your parents?
Yeah, because we were raised on a farm.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mac, was he raised on a farm?
Well, he knew a lot about farming. He would go in the fall and help some of the farmers take off the crop and things like that.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
he had the
The
skills.
thrashing machines.
All right.
So yeah, there's another story with the thrashing machines.
Not a gory story.
No.
What happened?
Nothing at all. They came in out on the farm. They came in with a steam engine and a thrashing machine, and then we had the farmers around. They put on a team of horses with a hay rack on it. They went round and picked up the sheaves of the stooks on the field. Then they brought it in and put it through the machine, the thrashing machine. The shaft went out here. The grain went into a bin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neat. So, and that was back in White Rock.
No, that was in Manitoba.
Manitoba. Right.
Before
Nice.
I come out here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you stayed in Burnaby for 5 years?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
And then where did you go after Burnaby?
Well, that's maybe when we come out to White Rock here.
To White Rock.
Yeah.
So, and when did you come to Rossland?
Well, let's see what. Well, we came here in '58.
58. Okay.
We'd had different things. We'd left the farm and bought a house, bought a kind of a rooming house, and we had rooms rented. We rented, and Mac went to one of the grocery stores, and he worked for the grocery stores.
Here in Rossland?
No, in the White Rock area.
Oh, still in White Rock?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, okay.
And then we bought the Sunnyside Motel. It had 10 cabins, and he went selling. This was after he was in the grocery store business, and we took this other job, and that we moved out to White Rock again, and then he went and was selling neon signs on the road, the people buying signs and
yes.
that he did that. And
where was the Sunnyside Motel?
it was in White Rock.
In White Rock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just on the outskirts of White Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it still there today?
I don't think so.
No.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Somebody must have bought it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you came here in 58. Where did you live when you came to Rossland in 58?
Well, we lived right in the Allen Hotel.
Oh, the Allen Hotel. Now just mention where was the Allen Hotel?
It's right where Subway is here in town.
Right.
Here. That's
so
where,
on Columbia.
Yeah.
Right there where Subway is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where it was. It burnt down eventually after we left from here. Somehow or other, I don't know. It got burnt down. It did burn down. They had a fire.
Okay. So you brought all your kids here in 58?
Yes. The kids all came.
They all came.
Because we were on this daffodil farm, and we had a house, and the kids went to school. Some of them finished their education in what was the name of that school? I know.
Somewhere in White Rock.
Yeah, it was in White Rock. Semiamo, I think it was.
Oh, Semiamu. Okay.
Yeah, where they went.
All right. And what were their names? You started saying Iris or Irene?
Arthur was the oldest.
Yes.
Arthur. And then Garth. And then Arnold. And then Irene.
And Irene. So one girl and 3 boys.
That's right. And Irene is here in Rossland.
And Irene is still here in Rossland.
Yeah. When we came up here, she was 15 when we moved to Rossland. Well, then when we decided Mac didn't get along with the partner that we were in with. Maybe I shouldn't put that in it.
This is the Allen Hotel.
Yeah.
So how long did you have the Allen Hotel? You bought it, you and your husband?
Yeah.
You bought the hotel?
Yeah, we bought our share in it.
Your share in it?
Yeah, because it was another partner, you see.
Okay.
The one partner lost his license,
Oh,
and we got in there. So that's it. And we had that for, I guess 4 years or more.
4 years. So describe the Allen Hotel. Like, I never got to see it.
Well, it was three stories, and we lived, the other partner lived in a suite on the top floor. And we lived in the back where there used to be the dining area that wasn't in there. And the people, when they took it over, they put long rods in it, and they put heavy drapes to separate each room. Separate the bedroom from the kitchen and the bedroom from the front room. There was no wooden partitions and that. It was just heavy drapes, real heavy wine drapes.
And you lived there with your children?
Yeah. Well, the youngsters had their rooms upstairs. They all had a room up. Irene had a room up, and the boys had rooms upstairs. We had ours lived down. Mac and I lived in the suite.
In the suite.
And then, you see, at night or any time, we answered the buzzer when people came in.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So how many rooms in the Allen Hotel?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I really don't know.
So you have rooms on each floor for the public?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they had men renting certain rooms. They would be working in town or down in Trail, and they would rent a room in our place, and that was their sleeping quarters. They used to get their meals at the restaurants and things like that.
You didn't have a restaurant in the hotel?
No, we didn't have that.
Okay.
I guess they did when Bialy had it. They had it, but they didn't have it when these other people took over.
Right.
This is how they started it.
So any interesting characters come and rent at the Allen Hotel?
Oh, I don't know.
Mainly people working in the mining. Were the mines still operating?
Yeah, well, I guess they were,
much.
some of them, and some of them worked at the smelter.
Oh, the smelter, yeah, down in Trail.
Yeah,
Yes.
and when we had, us, Anne and I, had our names put on the license so that we could serve beer, too, with our husbands. Because at 5 o'clock at night, a lot of them worked at the smelter in Trail. So they come up to Rossland, come into the Allen, to have a beer. Sit there and have beer. And then, because in the Saturday, Friday night and Saturday, we weren't open on Sundays. There was a separate place, like one room would be open. It would be this big, but it had open that the ones from that side, say the men, they could come over to the ladies. We had the ladies and the men's.
Oh.
And that.
So it was like a pub?
Yes, it was a beer parlor. We served beer.
Oh, okay.
We didn't serve any hard liquor.
No.
It was just beer.
Just beer?
Yeah.
And so the men would come in and meet the ladies there?
Yeah, oh yeah, or bring their wife. They would come in right in there, and that it was that was women and their escorts would come in there.
I see.
But the women could not go over onto the men's side. They could go over if they wanted to talk to their husband, but they couldn't sit over there and drink beer.
So what separated the men from the women? Was there a wall?
Oh, yeah, there was a wall like that, but a big opening, twice the size of that.
Oh, okay.
They could come.
And did they have separate doors?
Well, they weren't doors on it. No,
Okay.
it was just open.
It was just open, so everybody came in through the one door.
Oh, in the entranceway, the ladies had a door that they could come in. The men had one that they could come in.
Oh, and they had to go out on the same door, by the same door?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so we no longer have men separate from women. That's kind of something we don't have anymore.
I don't think so.
No, but you brought beer in. Tell me about how you got your license and what kind of beer did you have?
I don't know the name of beer. We had it in kegs and that. It came in kegs. And that.
And did you have bartenders, people serving beer, or did you do that?
We served beer.
You served it.
We had big heavy trays and trays that we could carry on, round trays, and we had 10-cent glasses and 20-cent glasses, two different size of glasses.
Oh.
And our beer was all on tap. that you just,
Oh, on tap.
yeah, and you just tapped your beer into the glass. You held your glass under the tap, pull the lever and filled it up, and have your tray on your plate here, set it all around here, and then you go and you serve it.
Oh.
It was, Anne and I, when we first started, we took the tray and we put the glasses on and put water in it.
Oh.
Because if we do, you had to balance it somehow.
So how many glasses did you end up having on a tray?
Oh, there'd be 6 or 7.
Oh.
Maybe, yeah. You'd put them around. You might have a bottle of beer on there too, so you have to be careful with it. But we learned how to balance it, and take it off. You didn't take all off on the one side, you took it off around.
Right.
That's
it.
Yeah,
Oh.
and we had our billfolds in between our fingers, and we had little changers
Oh.
to put our change in.
Hey, you must have got some good tips.
Well, no, not really.
No?
No,
People didn't tip that much?
no.
No?
We might have got some, but I don't remember that. I don't think we did get much tips.
So did you have anything that wasn't alcoholic? Did you have any soft drinks? Sodas?
We might have, yes.
Yeah,
We could have
yeah.
had. Somebody who didn't want beer, they'd have a 7-Up or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, I think we
Yes.
had that.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had great big things to wash the glasses. We had a thing that we rinsed them in, poured them in. If there happened to be some lipstick on it, well, you got to get that off, and then you put it in, and then it'll go through this machine, you see, out on a little belt, and they dry there.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
then you take them
handy.
off and put them there.
So how many people would come in on a Friday and Saturday night?
Oh, there was quite a few. I don't know. It'd be 40, 50, or maybe more than that.
And what time did you close on the Friday and Saturday?
I think it was 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Everybody out. 11 o'clock. Who used to call the time?
Pardon?
Who would call the time?
Well, we knew what time it was.
All right.
Yeah, the clock was on the wall, and that was it. And everybody knew that they had to be out by. I think maybe somebody would say, "Okay, you guys, you got to drink up, but you got 5 minutes left," or something like that.
Okay. Give them a warning.
Yeah, warning,
Yes.
And they were good.
So you lived in the hotel for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you decided to move on from there? What
moved-
happened?
Well, Wiener's Clothing. That's. You maybe heard of Wiener.
Wieners, yes.
Well, he wanted us to. He was getting pretty old, and he wanted us to buy his place, and we didn't know whether we did or not, because when we sold our share in our place, we took a beautiful house out on Deep Cove, out in Vancouver. The people that lived in it bought our share in the Allen Hotel. So we had to go down and do something about that. Well, Frank Wiener came down and talked to us, wanted us to come back up. So we decided we would, because when we moved back into the house down there, Irene didn't come back with us, our daughter. Mm-hmm. She was going with Kenny. And she was working at the Trail Times. She had a good job. She liked it. And so we put her in a suite over Delagist. He's not there now, but that was the jewelry store. Mm-hmm. And he had a suite there, so that's where she was. Well, when we went back down there to sell the house, to get rid of that, and Frank came down to see us. Well, if Irene had gone down to the coast with us, we wouldn't have been back. But she stayed here, so nothing would do that we were going to come back up here. She was our only daughter. Mm-hmm. So we came back up here. She never left, and we're back up here again.
Interesting. So it's really because of Irene that you stayed here, came back here.
Well, not so much for this place. We'd had a business in here. When they were building this place, anybody that had a business and lived in Rossland could come into here.
Into Esling Park Lodge.
Pardon?
Into Esling Park Lodge.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And you see, when we first came in, We bought into it. We bought these places.
Oh.
Yeah, $45,000 or so. And then they couldn't fill it. And in two years' time, this was after Mac, it was over 2000, and Mac passed away. We had a big meeting in here, and what are we going to do? We can't fill all the suites. People just seem to want to pay the money and that. So we had a lawyer, Harrison. He came in, and he was very good, and talked to us and told what would happen if we didn't. It would be closed, or something would happen. They would have to sell the whole thing, the building, to somebody. So we all decided, amongst ourselves, we would sign up to it. We got 23,000 back out of our 45. We lost a little bit.
Wow.
But what were we going to do? We had to do that.
Right.
You know, to save. And Jock Irwin, he's passed away now, he got up and he said, listen, you guys, he said, you feel you don't want to do this, but he said, you're going to lose your money, and if you don't. This way you're going to get, we did get 52% back. He said, we won't get any back, we'll just lose it. We'll go bankrupt. Mm-hmm. So we all signed the paper, and we got our money back, and here we are.
Very good.
Yeah.
So tell me about Wieners. When you bought the shop, the clothing store.
Yeah, the clothing store.
So tell me about that. Where was it?
It was on the main. It's on the main street here. I think it's a man's shop right now. Next, where the bank is, just a couple of doors down from the bank, the Bank of Montreal.
Right.
I think it's a men's store.
And when you had it, what kind of clothing did Wieners have?
All kind. Children, men's, and ladies. All clothing.
And how did it go? How was it?
It was good.
Yes?
Yes, it was good. And we had 2-3 ladies working for us. And we were quite busy. It was good. The only thing that Mac didn't like, he was at the desk ordering and invoicing and things like that. And that wasn't his cup of tea. So we didn't have it as long as we maybe should have. Mm-hmm. But we advertised it and sold it. And the people that came in, they had it. They just left. I think he's passed away. But they had it for 13, 14 years.
The same kind of clothing?
Yeah. Well, they upgraded. We had upgraded too. We changed some of what Wieners had. They had more, well, I don't say funny clothing, but it was just ordinary clothing. But we did put in better line for women's and that clothing. Mm-hmm. And Wieners even did more than that. They did put in fur coats and different things.
And how do you spell Wieners? Is it E-I-N?
W-E-R-N. Look in the...
Oh, okay. Wieners.
Yeah,
like with an R in there. Okay.
Yes, it's a W.
A W.
Yeah,
E-R-N-E-R. Something like that, Wieners. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just look in the paper.
Well, so that was pretty enterprising, from the Ellen Hotel to a clothing store.
Yeah, and then you see, when we sold that, we went down to the coast and just had bought a house. Then we were there. We moved down in '66 from here.
To the coast?
To White Rock.
Back to White Rock.
Yeah. And we bought this house. What was I going to say?
You moved back to White Rock in '66, bought the house.
I was just trying to think what Mac did. Mac went with the growth in, but not, we had that. Him and our youngest son went building apartments.
Oh.
We built one apartment over from where we were, and then a couple of years' time, they were building houses. Then our neighbor had the house. Well, she was selling that, so we bought that house of hers, and we moved our house off our lot. We bought another house in White Rock. We moved our house off to another, And we built a big condominium on those 2 lots.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my youngest son and him and Mac. They were their own contractors. They hired the workers to do the work.
Right.
And that, but they were their own contractors.
And they did very well with that
very
business?
good, very good. The first building that they built, it was all sold before it ever was finished completely.
Because that's a beautiful location, White
yeah,
Rock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got the beach there. How close were they to the water?
To the water?
Mm.
Well, we could look out and look at the pier from our house.
Right. So
Yeah.
pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So how long you went back in 66, and then how long did you stay in White Rock before you came back here?
We didn't. You see, we moved in 66, and we didn't come back here until this was finished.
And that when was this? 1997.
Yeah, we come back in 97. We rented an apartment up here for a year while this was being built. And 97, that was a fall, but we didn't come into here until 98 in the fall, November. And then you see in 2000, 98, then 99, we were into 2000.
Right.
And Mac passed away in 2000.
And you were both living here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you miss the ocean?
No, because
you don't miss it?
No, it was good, but I wasn't a swimmer to go down and swim. I learned to swim when I was 65.
Oh my goodness! Where did you learn to swim? At White Rock?
Yeah.
In the ocean?
No, at a friend's place that had a pool.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you learned to swim there, but did you swim in the ocean afterwards?
No.
No?
We went then from there we had to get rid of the house that we were living in. Went with an apartment on that place. We bought another house in White Rock and was living there. Well, then we sold that and we moved into a motel park where they had cabins.
Oh, cabins.
Yeah,
Right.
well, not cabins. They were mobile home houses.
Mobile homes. Right.
Yeah. We bought that, and then we were there, I guess, for 17 years. Quite a few. We went to California for 10, 11 years while we were living in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we went to Hemet to California in the winter for 6 months.
And then came back each time.
Yeah.
Did you have a house in California?
No, we rented a trailer. Oh. We bought a trailer. That was it. A little trailer, and put it on a lot. Well, then when we came back home for the summer, we paid rent on that, just a small rent. And then when we come back, we had it. It had 2 nice beds in it, living room.
Nice.
That's how they were. They were little trailers.
Little trailers. And what part of California was it?
Hemet.
Hemet. And where's Hemet near?
Oh, well, again.
Is it north of San Francisco?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So way up, so northern California.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Not too far from and my mind just goes.
California's a big place, yeah.
Yeah. We used to go over there to shop at times, take the bus, a bunch of us, over to... It'll come in a minute.
It'll come back. So you've been White Rock, Burnaby, down to California, and now you're back in Rossland. And tell me, so you were away from Rossland for quite a while, but your daughter Irene has always been living here.
Yes, she lived here. You see, she got married.
Right. Is she still living here?
Oh, yes.
Right. Okay. And
if you drive straight up this street, first time, you come just before you make the turn to go around by the hospital. On that side, you'll see a place that has you'll see the water coming out of it. It's a little fountain thing that that Kenny had built it in the
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's on that side, and that's their house right there.
So Irene and Kenny, and they're both still living there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Irene Ken Dixon.
Ken Dixon. So
And they had two children, Shauna and Shane. Shane's an electrician. That's the oldest. And Shauna works for, well, she used to work for Red Mountain. And she has a son. He's 17 years old. Her husband left her when Jordan was 3, 4. Yeah.
And your other 3 boys, they're married with children?
Oh, yes. My youngest son lives in Cranbrook. And my oldest son, that's him up there. He passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, quite a few years ago. And Aaron, he lives in Cranbrook, and the other one lives in California. My second boy.
Lives in California. So he married an American girl?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
But very nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
No, the girl that he was going with before he moved down there, she moved, her parents moved down. Well, nothing would do when Bill got out of school, or Garth got out of school. He was going to go down. Well, he went down. Well, before he went into Vancouver, and he took I guess it was a course he had to take with national cash registers. And he got 98%, and he got his papers for that to fix. So he went round to all the places that had national cash registers and fixed them. Well, then, when Val moved down to the coast, down to the California, he had to go too. Yeah, well, that was it, because he married her eventually. And he did the same work down there, national cash, and did that for a good many years. He's just left it now.
Very good.
Yeah, for 60 years or so.
So what's your favourite parts of Rossland? What do you like about Rossland?
Well, I don't know. It's a very friendly place, and it's not too big, that you get to know people and things like that. No, it's when we're talking and we watching the news over TV and that, and you see all that, Irene will say to Mom, she says, I'm sure glad to be living here. And I said, I am too.
Yes.
You're away from all this shooting. You can have a little bit of it here, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So,
well, thank you very much, Dorothy, for all your stories.
I hope it comes out all right. I hope I haven't made a mess of it.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be just fine. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for allowing us to come into your home.
Well, I was thinking about the Allen Hotel and that, when we had that, we had to take and paint it and things like that. And there was no rooms with private baths in there.
Oh.
And they took 3 rooms and took the center room, cut it, put it in half, put 2 bathrooms in there. And there was 2 rooms with private baths. Because, people coming in, traveling, they don't want to go down the hall and have their bath.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, so they had a room with a private bath.
But some of the rooms had to have a shared bath.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, most of them. You see, they all did until we did that. Oh, we did a lot of remodeling in that place and painting. The walls, the doorways and that were all dark. And as I said to Mac that night when we went to bed, do we want to take this over? And the next morning when you get up, the sun was shining. Things looked different. So we did.
Well, that's great that you did that. I mean, that's a part of history.
Well, we got to know, and that's how because we'd had business in here, that's how we were allowed to come in here. Because Irene, when they were starting this, Irene said to us, because she was here and had started her family, she said, Mom, do you guys ever think of coming back to Rossland? Yes, we said we have, because we had nobody in White Rock. You see, Bill was down south and Aaron was up in Cranbrook. She was the only one.
Right.
So we put her name in, put our money up.
That's how it all turned out. So why do you think Irene liked this place so much? Mainly because she met Kenny here, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, she met Kenny, you see, going to school because she finished her schooling here.
Oh.
And Kenny was going to school too, you see that. Well, they started going together and
now they're both here and
they both here and they got two great children.
and they're going to stay here. That's their plans, to stay here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
They're great workers and that, and they fix their yard up. They've been busy doing their yard. But if you're driving up there and look on that side,
Yes.
they got well, I can't. But you see the pump, the thing there.
The fountain.
Yeah, the
Yes.
fountain.
I'll
And-
look for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just have a look at it.
So thank you once again,
Oh,
Dorothy. Thank
you're
you very
welcome.
much for your time.
I hope I haven't talked too much. And